Hello, welcome to this video for applicants to the Farming Transformation Fund FTF Slurry Infrastructure Grant. We will talk you through the information and detail that is required for producing site plans to accompany your slurry store location and design assessment form. Poor quality site plans lacking detail, dimensions and clear labelling slow down the assessment process. This is the most common reason needed to go back to applicants with requests for further information and revised site plans with all the missing detail. You will have received a copy of the site plan guidance in your invitation to submit a full application email, along with the link to the relevant online guidance on how to complete the slurry store location and design assessment form. As well as watching this video, please take the time to read all the relevant guidance when completing your site plans. Submitting a detailed site plan with all the details shown in the guidance will help to speed up the assessment process. You may find it helpful to have your base maps in front of you to look at while watching this video. We need you to submit a detailed and accurate site plan. This will allow the Environment Agency to assess your slurry store location and design assessment form without an on-farm assessment. The site plan helps the Environment Agency to assess your project against all the scheme requirements, including your slurry storage capacity requirement. Your site plan must show the site as it will be when the project is finished, not as it is now. This is important as your storage capacity requirement needs to be based on what will enter the store once all work is complete. How you choose to display features and information, whether all on one plan or across multiple plans, must be clear and easy to understand. Don't leave anything open to interpretation. You must provide a comprehensive key with your site plan so it's clear what all the symbols you use mean. You also need to be consistent. All the details you provide in your slurry store location and design assessment form and in Slurry Wizard need to match what is on your site plan, such as labels for structures. Your base map is the image onto which you will add all the other information and is fundamental to a good site plan. The image you can see is a simplified base map we will use to illustrate points throughout this video. Wherever possible, a base map should be professionally produced using a geographic information system. You can use a base map which you can request from the RPA if required, or you may choose to use a different base map such as Magic or Ordnance Survey maps, or create your own, depending on the scale or complexity of the plan. Your base map must cover the full farmyard and all areas which contribute to the production of slurry. Be to scale and have the scale included on the plan, for example 1 to 1000. Show as many of the existing relevant features as possible, such as buildings, yards, field boundaries, and watercourses. Be clear with features easily discernible. If you need to display features that are a significant distance apart, you must submit multiple site plans. You can also use different scales covering different areas if required. If you do this, you must provide an overarching plan explaining how these areas relate to each other. The aim of the base map should be to make the required information clear. Your site plan must show the site as it will be when the project is complete. The image you can see is the updated base map, which now shows a proposed new store and reception pit. It also shows an existing underground slatted floor store and clearly indicates which features will be removed as part of the project. These are highlighted on the base map in red. You should start to edit the base map in the following ways. Add on any new structures you will be constructing as part of your project, for example, the new slurry store, and location and lengths of new pipe work. Add on any new areas of concrete or hard standing you will be installing. Clearly indicate any structures or areas of concrete and hard standing that will be removed as part of the project. Show any changes you will be making to current structures or areas of concrete and hard standing, such as expansion or relocation. You will also need to include any underground features or features situated within buildings, including reception pits, slatted floor stores, and ring stores. When you have edited your base map to include all the relevant features, you need to label the features so it's clear what their purpose is. This image shows consistent labeling being used in Slurry Wizard, which will match your slurry store location and design assessment form and site plan. You must label all buildings on your chosen base map, including non-farm buildings and those you do not own or have access to. All yard areas draining to the slurry store. You must individually label all the features referenced in your site plan and other areas of your application. Use the same labels in your slurry store location and design assessment form and Slurry Wizard submission. It must be clear on the site plan what any other symbols, colours or patterns utilised to display information mean. To do this, you must include a key, either on the site plan or accompanying it. This image shows that the key has now been included. The key shows the grass area is coloured green, and the red and white area is not associated with the farm. You can also see that labels and descriptions have now been added for the buildings and yards. The key will help to show the differences between farming structures and other structures on your plan, such as residential buildings. If whole areas of your plan are entirely unrelated to your farming practice, you could show the difference on a broad scale, for example, by shading the non-agricultural parts in a particular colour. The key you use should be comprehensive and easy to understand. You must show the surface type of all areas on your site plan. We will also use your site plan to understand where the dimensions you have provided in Slurry Wizard and your slurry store location and design assessment form come from. This image now shows that the surface types have been included in the site plan and included in the key. For example, the permeable gravel area is shaded in grey. The dimensions for slurry stores, reception pits, and external surfaces that drain to the slurry storage system have also been added. We use the site plan to check your slurry capacity requirement calculations, and to do this we need to understand which surfaces collect rainfall and drain to the slurry storage system. Your descriptions of surface types must explain which are impermeable and which are permeable. As well as using your site plan to understand where the dimensions provided come from, it is used to consider the size of the features when assessing how close they are to other features like watercourses. You must include dimensions for all slurry stores, reception pits, and external surfaces that drain to the slurry storage system. These may include above ground slurry stores, below ground slurry stores, impermeable yards, for example, concrete, roofs, silage clamps, reception pits. If you have a ring store, you will need to provide the dimensions for all sides of the store's footprint and not just the outer edge dimensions. This image is an example of how to provide dimensions of a ring store in a site plan. As well as which areas drain to the slurry storage system and which don't, we need to understand how the slurry and clean water move around the site. This image shows the addition of information to the site plan to indicate how slurry and clean water move around the site. This has been shown by using different coloured arrows and symbols on the plan. The different styles used have been added to the key. You must clearly indicate on the site plan if the materials flow around the site by gravity without assistance, or if they need to be pumped. If movement of slurry and clean water occurs above ground, across impermeable surfaces, or below ground through pipework or channels. You must also show the location of the specific pieces of infrastructure moving slurry and clean water around the site, including guttering, pipework, discharge points, and drains. It is important for us to understand which areas of the yard stock have access to, as this helps us understand how clean water is prevented from coming into contact with livestock excreta. If slurry is being transferred using a tanker or temporary pipework, as opposed to overground flow or through permanent pipework, you must provide an accompanying note explaining this. You must include the location of any boreholes, wells, or springs you are aware of on your holding. This image shows the addition of boreholes to the site plan by using a blue triangle. This symbol has also been added to the key. Boreholes, wells, and springs are important as they are susceptible to pollution by slurry. Your slurry cannot be stored within 50 metres of these features. This distance should be measured from the maximum slurry extent, for example, the top of slurry stored side of the embankment of a lagoon. If these features are remote from the farmyard, you may want to show them on a separate, larger scale plan to allow for the main plan to remain clear and easily understood. Remember, you need to add dimensions to this plan. You must label all boreholes, wells, and springs with an OS grid reference containing 2 letters and 10 numbers, as shown in the example on the slide. If you operate your farm under the permission of an environmental permit, you will need to include the permitted boundary on your site plan. This image shows the addition of a permitted boundary to the site plan. This has been indicated by using a red line, which has also been added to the key. You should consult your environmental permit documentation to find out the permitted boundary. We have covered a lot of detailed information in this video. Please remember that everything we have covered is in the site plan guidance document. If you do not have a copy of this, you can obtain one by emailing us at ftf@rpa.gov.uk. The site plan and slurry store location and design assessment form needs to be completed in line with the Farming Transformation Fund Slurry Infrastructure Grant guidance. Please note that depending on which round you have applied under, there will be different guidance. All of these documents are available on gov.uk. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to receiving your fully detailed site plans for your Farming Transformation Fund Slurry Infrastructure Grant application.